Welcome back to Quantum Tech TV. In today's video, we're taking you to a remote location where one man is building a triangular wooden house from the ground up, completely on his own. Everything begins on a barren piece of land with a rough and hardened surface. He carefully takes measurements, marking each position according to the plan. Then, stakes are firmly driven into the ground, and lines are stretched to clearly define the construction area. As a result, the exact location of the house is precisely established, creating a solid foundation for the steps that follow. He begins by digging foundation holes at the pre-marked positions, ensuring the correct depth and spacing according to the design. Then, stakes are firmly driven into each hole and carefully aligned for straightness and height, creating a stable base for the structure. Next, the construction materials are delivered to the site and neatly organized, preparing everything for the next stages of the building process. The yellow foundation footings are placed precisely at the predetermined positions and backfilled with soil around them for initial support. Then, he mixes concrete and pours it into each footing to secure them firmly. Stakes are driven deep into the ground, and the surface of the footings is carefully leveled, creating a strong and stable foundation for the entire structure. He installs the large wooden beams onto the foundation footings, securing them firmly with screws. After that, he removes the yellow outer layer from the footings, preparing them for the next stage of construction. Next, he carefully measures and cuts the wooden beams to the required dimensions, then precisely assembles them together, forming the first structural frames of the building.
you can do is you can cut a piece of scrap wood, kind of spread it out a little bit, get it a little more even, to get as much coverage as possible. Alright, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and lay it off the top. I'm going to go ahead and get 2.5 screws. Make sure it's flush from each side. Alright, yeah, drop right here, bolt down. There we go, flush. Got our press it bench, got our washer, got our nut, so go ahead and put that on the bottom.
The main frames of the triangular structure are gradually raised on the prepared foundation, with large wooden beams securely connected and lifted at precise angles according to the design. As the frames are fixed in place, the distinctive A-frame shape of the house becomes clearly visible, creating a strong sense of space and height inside. Next, the exterior cladding panels are carefully installed onto the frame, covering the entire surface. The metal roof is then meticulously constructed, with each panel precisely aligned and securely fixed, protecting the structure from the elements. Finally, the exterior finishing panels are completed, giving the house a solid and modern appearance. He carefully measures and cuts the wooden pieces, then securely fixes the large beams to form the frame. Next, the floor panels are placed in position and fastened with screws, creating a solid and stable surface. He measures and cuts the wooden beams for the walls, then uses an excavator to dig a pit before installing the wall frames in place. Above, a loft is built, and he continues assembling the upper frames while aligning the triangular window, gradually completing the interior structure.
There's the front wall, and so on the right side of the door and on the left side of the window, that's where I plan on doing the front wall. And then right under this triangle right here, doing this horizontal space right here, I'm also want to do a black wall in that section as well. So I think it'd be a cool design feature and a little bit more light. It is going to take some time. I gotta see where I'm going to source this free models. I should have a problem talking about it, just so much. But and then up here, I want to do have a cool room and some models as well. I think it'd be a cool design.
After that, he installs wooden panels onto the house frame, gradually enclosing the walls. Next, a white protective sheet is wrapped around the exterior, with precise cuts made to leave openings for the main door and windows. Next, he secures wooden beams to form the frame of the front porch, then measures and cuts additional wood to complete the porch structure. He continues by installing wooden panels on the walls to create a solid and neat surface. After that, more wooden beams are used to finish the porch area. He applies adhesive tape around the windows and main door to improve sealing, then installs glass panels into the frames, completing the doors and windows of the house. After that, he continues finishing the side and front porch of the house. He installs large wooden panels onto the roof frame, creating a solid and complete surface. Next, he cuts wooden beams and fits them around the main door and windows. Securing the frames, and improving the overall appearance of the structure. He carefully measures and cuts the wooden beams, then assembles them to build the staircase with proper alignment and safety. Next, he constructs the walkway by fixing wooden sections to the main structure and adds a metal mesh to the railing for extra safety. Every detail is completed carefully, creating a strong and finished space. He secures the porch roof surface with screws to ensure a solid structure. Then he sands the surface to make it smooth and remove any rough areas. Finally, he applies a layer of white paint to the porch frame and walkway, giving the structure a clean and finished appearance. He prepares brown paint to finish the porch and staircase. Before that, he firmly secures the wooden beams in place with screws to ensure structural stability. Then, he applies a white base coat over the entire structure and afterward paints the roof frame, windows, and main door in brown to create a consistent and natural look. Finally, the lower front section of the house is painted yellow, making the structure more striking and visually balanced. He measures and cuts the wooden beams to build the interior staircase. Then, carefully assembles them in place according to the design, forming a complete and safe structure. He secures wooden beams to the wall using screws to create pathways and mounting points for the electrical system. Then, he carefully runs electrical wiring along the wooden beams, keeping everything neat and safe before connecting it to the main electrical panel to complete the house's wiring system. He then cuts a small hole in the upper part of the roof panel to run the wiring and hang down a light bulb, completing the interior lighting setup. Next, he applies a layer of brown paint to the wooden panels, then brings them inside and installs them throughout the entire space. The panels are firmly secured with screws, creating a clean and finished interior surface for the house. That's the full journey of the triangular wooden house. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe to Quantum Tech TV, and see you next time.